Hi, Bridge families. I'm so excited to be with you here today. If we haven't met, I'm Melissa, and I'm one of the Bridge interns. Today, I'll be speaking on Psalm 46 during our Psalm Wednesday night series. So just a rundown of Psalm 46. It's a song that reminds us that God is our forever safety and how we should run to Him because He brings us peace through our trials. The city that's talked about in this passage is Jerusalem, and they're in a time and a trial of just the nations around them are attacking them because they are God's city. So when our world is flipped upside down, we can turn to God, and through this passage, we can learn that God is our protector, our provider, and our peacemaker. So with that, I'm going to open us up in a word of prayer, and I'll get into the word. God, I just want to thank you that we get to once again open up your word. I want to thank you that we get to learn from you, and we get to worship you on a daily basis. I want to ask that through this time that I could just speak on your word and just get to know you more. And I want to pray for the families at home that you could just speak to them as well and show us who you are. And you're going to pray. Amen. So going into verse 1, it says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. So in verse 1, we find that God is our protector. So point number 1 on your notes is God is our protector. Verse 1 reminds us that God is our refuge and our protection and our safety. He reassures us that He is our hope in times of struggle, and we can lean on Him through our trials. So I want you to think about a time when you were afraid in your life, or maybe you were nervous or anxious for something. For me, it was when I had to text a friend to meet up for coffee. Our friendship wasn't as good as it was beforehand, and I knew I had to meet with him. We've been friends for a while, and he means a lot to me, and still today he's one of my best friends. There's been a couple obstacles around that time, and I knew we had to talk it out. And through that situation, I learned that I needed to lean on God to say the most caring things, the most loving things, and we are friends today. So even though that it may feel like God is and everything else is up against you, God will meet you in your time of need. God met me in my time of need with my friend at that meeting. I felt His presence, and I knew that He was there with us. God is your safe place to go. He is in control, and He will help you. And knowing that God is with us can give us comfort that even when tomorrow's trials come, He is still there, today, tomorrow, and forever. Now moving on to verses 4 through 7. There is a river whose streams make glad of the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at the break of day. Nations are in uproar and kingdoms fall. He lifts His voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us, the God of Jacob, our fortress. So point number 2 on your notes is God is our provider. It shows the difference between a messy world versus God's divine nature. In this city, in Jerusalem, everything is breaking down, and there is water running. The nations are in uproar against them, and yet that just shows the difference between a messy world and God's perfect, because God is meeting them in their place of need when the nations are in uproar against them. Knowing that God is with us can give us comfort that even when tomorrow's trials come, He will still be with us. In these verses, we see that in the middle of madness, we need to stay calm and trust God that He has His plan set for us. Sometimes it feels like everything is going wrong and we have to ask Him why. But instead of asking Him why, we need to realize that we need to gain wisdom and grow closer to Him. We know that trials may come, but God will help us get through them. God will always provide a way out of our storms. Verses 8 through 11 say, Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations He has brought on earth. He makes war cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted among the earth. So point number 3 on your notes, God is our peacemaker. Verse 10 says to be still. A couple weeks ago, when Sarah taught on Sunday mornings, we learned that God told the Israelites to be still in Exodus 14. The story is when He split the Red Sea for the Israelites, and it's a very similar situation as the people in Jerusalem. Egypt is going after the Israelites as they're fleeing from slavery in Egypt, and they're stuck between the Red Sea and the Egyptians. But God told them to be still, and he opened up the wall for them, the walls of water for them to go through and get out of Egypt. Being still allows God to bring peace into our lives. It also allows God to do what he needs to fulfill our plan in our lives. To know God is God, we need to understand that he is our strength and refuge. And just a reminder, it's not to be still or no, it's to be still and know. Knowing that God is God and knowing to be still in our times and trials will allow God to enter and bring peace into our lives. We need to trust God that he has a plan for each and every one of us. So my main point today is no matter what happens and no matter what life brings, we are in the safe care of God. Even when we feel like our life may be falling apart and even when chaos surrounds us, God is our protector, our provider, and our peacemaker. Let me pray us out. God, I want to thank you that I got to share this word with the Bridge today, God. I want to ask that you would just reveal yourself as our provider, our peacemaker, and our protector, God. I want to ask that we all just have a great rest of our week and great weeks coming in the Psalm series, God. I want to ask that you would just keep everyone healthy and keep them safe. In your name I pray. Amen.